I adhere to the already established protocols and proceed to talk about our struggle with the issue of sovereignty as African nations, especially regarding health issues, health sovereignty. And as you all know, and as already properly presented by Dr. Wang this morning, we are now facing a great threat by the WHO with this pandemic treaty and the revision of the international health regulations. And because of this, we are now going to lose our sovereignty if we are not vigilant enough in finding out the threats that are within those documents and saying no to the revision and stopping from signing those documents. And the problem we are now having as African nations, from what we have seen in the past few years as we work with Family Watch Africa, and even before that when I was leading United for Life Ethiopia in my beloved nation of Ethiopia. The problem we're facing is, our leaders are signing documents without proper scrutiny. And most of these documents contain these very problematic issues using very crafted wordings which hide the threat and the danger. And in some instances, they even put those problematic suggestions in the form of footnotes. And those big documents, as legislators or government officials, many of them, they do not read them. And they just sign those documents, seeing the amount of money that is coming to that nation. And because of that, our nations, African nations, are being sold just for the sake of money. And this is the greatest problem we are having as Africans. And the looming danger ahead of us is, I personally fear that many African nations will succumb to the pressure by WHO to sign this pandemic treaty. And the whole purpose of this treaty is to take away our sovereign health rights. And they are now working on a disease X, which eventually may come out sooner or later, and then the WHO will come with suggestions of ask for us to buy what they call the pandemic-related products, meaning medications or things related to pandemics that will be a way of getting money out of us. So that's a real threat. So I'm just asking this August gathering to discuss on issues and on ways and means on how to prevent, especially the executive, from signing such documents which will eventually cause damage to our sovereignty. And before I finish, I'd like to say something about comprehensive sexuality education, which is the #1 tool in promoting the gay rights agenda all over the world, especially in African nations. And Africa has been bombarded with repeated ways and means of implementing this agenda. For example, the Eastern and Southern African Ministerial Commitment, which was signed in Cape Town in 2013, is a prime example of how UNFPA, UNICEF, and other UN agencies were trying to push this agenda into African nations, and 20 of our Southern and Eastern African nations signed this document, like you saw this morning when Sharon presented. They were jubilating. And what happened was our children got sexualized and they ended up having unwanted pregnancies. Eventually, they went to IPPF clinics to secure abortions. And this is a means to get money for IPPF. And we're being tricked by these multi-billion-dollar organizations. And this trial or this game of trying to implement comprehensive sexuality education in African nations is coming again and again and again through different means and ways. Another example being the Samoa Agreement, which many African nations, despite the warning given to them by Family Watch Africa and related uh, well-meaning organizations, many of the African nations signed this. I can say almost all who are under this agreement. And our legislatures who are part of this uh, uh, European Union coalition of African and Pacific and Caribbean nations, they protested, especially in the Maputo meeting, but their voices were not heard. So I think, to cut short what I'm saying, I will come to this during the discussion.
Thank you.
We need to find means and ways of tackling, these threats, especially by closing doors at the executive level. Thank you.